So this one comes up all the time. Can I use my retirement account to fund my privatized bank? That's an interesting one. And I often used to wonder if it's even possible to get funds from a pension or a retirement plan to use it for the premium to start that IBC policy. If you think the same way I used to, then this is the video for you. And I'm going to show you the do's and don'ts of how you can use your retirement account to fund your IBC policy. Let's start with the basics. Number one, what is a pension or a retirement plan? Now, if you don't know, this is for you. A pension is something that most of you will never have in your life, so you don't need it. But for us older folks, we actually used to have these things the company gave us, which if we put in our good 20 years at a company or whatever amount of time, somewhere 30, the company would then pay us an income for the rest of our life. It's called the defined benefit plan. Now, these were great. Our parents and definitely our grandparents used to have these things because that was when America was America, and when you worked for a company, they took care of you. Those days are pretty much long gone, but there are a few random pensions still alive out there. So what's nice about a pension is most pensions, you don't have to put any money into the plan at all. The employer funds it 100% based on the benefit they're going to pay to you someday in the future when you retire. So today we've moved more into what we would know as the qualified retirement plans like 401ks, 457 plans if you work for a government, 403b plans if you're a teacher or work for a nonprofit, and there's a couple others. But these are qualified retirement plans where they're a defined contribution plan, meaning you, as the employee, contribute your money to the retirement plan so that you are planning for your retirement. Now, I hate these plans, but these are one of the most common things out there, and this is where over, I believe, $40 trillion of Americans' money sits. So it's a pretty big deal. The question I always get is, hey, can I use the money in my pension or the money in my retirement plan to fund my IBC policy? The simplest answer I can give you is you probably shouldn't. Now, I know that's not what you wanted to hear, and we're going to go into some ways where you can, but the true answer is I wouldn't. And I wouldn't because let's just take a piece of paper or just imagine you're standing on a beach. Draw a line in the sand. On one side of that line, you want to put your 401k, your IRAs, all your qualified retirement plan money. Okay, that's where that all goes on the left side. And on the right side, you want to, right at the top, write non-qualified money. That would be your savings, your checking. If you got a brokerage account, maybe your crypto account, and those pesky IBC whole life insurance policies. Those all go on the right side. Now, the right side's the funner side because there are no real restrictions on your money. When you need it, you can take it. It's liquid. It doesn't have rules. On the left side, the qualified funds, the retirement stuff, there's all sorts of rules the government puts on that. Because they allow you to get a deduction for putting money into the plan when you do it, which I think is a crock. But anyway, they allow you to do this. Then they say, well, you can't use this money without a penalty before 59 and a half. So if you were to take money from your qualified retirement plan, let's leave Roth IRAs out of this mix, but if you were to take your money and you were to take it out of the plan before 59 and a half to put into an infinite banking policy, number one, the IRS is going to penalize you 10%. So you already lose 10%. Second, you're going to pay tax on all of that money. Now, the tax is what the tax is. You're going to pay tax on it when you take it out, anytime you take it out, 59 and a half or before or after. But why would you want to give the government a donation of 10% when you don't have to? So that's why I typically tell you, don't take money from a qualified retirement plan and put it into your infinite banking policy. But let's go to number two. What is the infinite banking policy? So you may or may not have heard me talk about this, and if you haven't, then I'll give you a video to watch. But the most important thing to understand is what we're talking about is a specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company that pays dividends. Now, in that whole long drawn out thing I just said, specially designed and engineered whole life from a mutually owned company that pays dividends, it's a mouthful. You heard only two words, whole life. And you heard that because most of your life, you've probably been told that that's a terrible place to put your money. It's an overpriced life insurance policy. Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman always tell you that's the worst place to put your money. But you missed the first words that I said, specially designed and engineered. You see, the whole life I'm referring to here with the IBC policy is very different than the whole life that Dave and Susie are talking about. They're actually polar opposites, but they're still both whole lives. So you walk into the Ford dealership and right there on the floor is this beautiful, black, pimped out Ford Focus. You're so excited about it. You say,
Honey, this is the car. This is what I want.
she looks at you like you got three heads.
Really? You're not driving a Ford Focus, honey.
That's not a very sexy car, is it? Get you to point A to point B, probably pretty good on gas, but outside of that, no one's sitting there being like, dude, you just see that Ford Focus roll by? That thing was sick. But then you're at home, after your wife just talked you off the ledge on the Ford Focus, you're at home and you're on YouTube, just like you are now. And you're watching this video of this guy who's driving this car, a Ford Focus, 130 miles an hour sideways in full control. And you're like, that's sweet. And the guy's name's Ken Block, one of the best rally cost drivers out there. He's driving a Ford Focus in control at 130 miles an hour sideways, making it look fun. The dude could do donuts around you and never touch you. So what's the difference between those two cars? The one at the dealership that's kind of a boring point A to point B car, and that crazy sick rally cross car that Ken Block was drifting. What's the difference? Design and engineering is the only difference. So the same thing happens with the whole life policies that I'm talking about. It is designed and engineered to function as your private banking system. That is it. No more, no less. So Dave and Susie can go fly a kite because now we're talking about something that benefits you. The next thing we got to hit, number 3, is the premium. Okay? When I say that word, premium, what do you think? You think expense, cost? I don't like those. Do you like making your car insurance premium? Nope. Do you like making any insurance premium? Nope. But let me ask you a second question. When you go to the bank and you make a deposit, do you like doing that? Oh yeah. That feels good, doesn't it? Making a deposit. It's your asset. It's your money. You're like, yeah, another deposit. So when we put money into those specially designed and engineered whole lives, the policy, we're not making premiums like we do our car insurance payment. We're making premium deposits. You see, we're creating a banking system, so every dollar we put in is a deposit. But we're going to call it a premium deposit just so we keep all things above water. Number 4, what can you use to make that policy premium? Remember at the beginning I said, can we use our retirement plan to do that? And I said the answer is really no. But you could. So when we design these plans, we design them around you and your needs and goals. We say, how much money are you saving now? And then let's change one thing, and that's where the money goes first. And we put it into the policy instead of somebody else's bank. But the money that goes in there can come from, number 1, your income from your job, W-2 income. Maybe you got a business and you get 1099 income. Maybe it could be that. Maybe you flip houses, you do some wholesale deals, whatever you do, wherever you derive income, that income can go into the policy. Where else can money come from? Well, maybe you got equity sitting in your house, okay? And that equity is doing nothing. So you could get a home equity line of credit. You could take that home equity line and you could dump that money into the policy. But I would highly recommend you don't do that unless you've got somewhere for that money to go next where it's going to make a higher interest rate than what the home equity line of credit interest charges you. So if it charges you 6, you better go out and make 12. Okay, fair enough. We need to make a positive spread. But a retirement account. So does it make sense to take money from your retirement account, pre-59.5, and then put it into the policy when you lose 10%? My answer is no. Some of you might say, well, yeah, I don't want money in a retirement plan. But the simple answer is no. So let's go the second part. What if we could take a loan from the 401k or the retirement account? So many of them will allow you to take loans up to $50,000 or 50% of the balance. So we take that loan from that 401k, we dump that into the policy. We then take the money out of the policy in the form of a loan and we lend that out or do something with that money to make 12%. You see, the loan that you took from your 401k is you being the bank, because when you pay that loan back, which you indeed have to pay the 401k loan back, and you have to pay it back with interest, every dollar of interest you pay back to your 401k goes into your account. So now you get to keep all the interest you pay and you're making money. The only important thing if you're going to take money from a 401k loan is that wherever that money goes after it goes through the policy, that it makes, again, a higher interest rate than what you're paying on that 401k loan. You need to make a positive spread. That's the rules of engagement, folks. 9 out of 10 times, it's not going to make sense for you to take money from a 401k. But in those rare situations where you've got somewhere for that money to go, and you want to just change where it goes first, put it through the policy, because why would you do that? Well, the policy will pay you interest and dividends on that money for the rest of your life uninterrupted. Any questions? So folks, I hope that was a good explanation of whether you can or cannot take money from your retirement plan to fund that IBC policy. If you loved this video, you're going to want to check this one out right here. Where is the best place I can put my money? Because it ties right into what we just said. So check that video out. And my name's Chris Naugle, and I'm here to teach you how to be the bank.